don't matter. Hopefully all is well with y'all. Hopefully all is beautiful with y'all. God is good. God is good. God is good. That's all I got to say. Um, Life is wonderful. I'm a blessed man. Have no complaints. Hopefully y'all doing well. Hopefully God is blessing your life. Hopefully you're having a wonderful time. Title of this video is Let's Talk About It. Um, Reason why I say let's talk about it. A lot of times we get into gun conversation, and guess what? I'm going to get into it again, amongst other topics. But I've had people in my life come in and say about the children of God, Christians, whatever way you want to identify that, should not have firearms. Sometimes I sit back and say you can't make this stuff up. They should not have firearms. As if evil people don't exist. Like evil, malicious, dangerous people don't exist. So their logic is always don't make sense. It's like, all right, The View, the TV show The View, which I don't even know why people take their advice from these type of people, says call Christians hypocrites. Because of the fact that they believe in the death penalty, or they believe in AR-15s and stuff. They have AR-15s, and what does one have to do with the other? I don't know. But this is where they was trying to spin it like you a hypocrite because you say you don't want abortion, but yet you had AR-15s. Like AR-15s, they forget that AR-15 is a tool. Guns are a tool. They don't have personalities. They don't have, legs, arms, and all this weird stuff that these people keep talking about. That's why I say, hey, what's up? God bless you. Welcome in. Welcome in. That's why I keep saying you got to stop listening to these idiotic people that have no clue about firearms and why we have them in America. They just don't have they have zero clue on them. They sit there and they say out of their mouth the dumbest stuff ever and have no clue what firearms are. They act like an AR-15. Yes, rest in peace, my brother Charlie Kirk. Yes, rest in peace to my brother. God bless you. Welcome in. 075. God bless you. Welcome in. But yeah, again, they have no idea what the reason why we have firearms. This is where like TV shows like The View just gets up under your skin sometimes because they say some of the dumbest stuff. Again, if you own a firearm in America, understand this. Do not let these politicians, and I know people always say you always talk about this. I do this for a reason. Do not let these politicians make these rules and these laws to try to take away your right to keep and bear arms. What's up, chicken? I'm trying to see JJ. I don't really listen to Nick. What's up, Monarch? I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't really listen to Nick. I don't know a whole lot of them. Yes, Trump is the GOAT. I don't know too much about him. I don't really listen to him. You know what I mean? God bless y'all. Please, as y'all come in, yes, MAGA. As y'all come in, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, I appreciate it very, very, very much. Real talk. Ivan Curry. Again, I say this with all sincerity. When you hear these people start talking about firearms, number one, they probably have no clue what firearms is. They really don't. And to sit there on The View and say Christians are hypocrites for having firearms, do they not understand how many times guns have saved lives? They don't understand how many times guns have saved lives compared to taking. I don't need a firearm. I know karate. So you can catch bullets with your teeth? Like, I understand the fight game. You want to be able to have a fair fight, do it with your hands, knuckle it up, whatever. I get all of that. But that's not the reality when you listen. In the ring or in a fair fight, all that matters. But most times when somebody in a situation, if somebody walks up with a gun and they ready to rob you, you get what I'm saying? You might know karate, and that's cool if you do. That's great. But you can do all the wow, all that all you want. All they gonna do is turn around and say pop, pop, and take what they want. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you shouldn't know karate. Listen, I know how to fight. I'm not the best fighter in the world, but I got a little bit of fight skills. And if I'm in a situation where it's gonna be a fair fight, I would rather take my hands and duke it up with you, win or lose, rather duke it up with you, and that's it. But a person that comes to rob you or steal from you or break in your home or carjack you, they're not there for a fair fight. That's the part that people seem to not understand. They're not there to say, yo, let's go into a fair fight. These type of situations is not that type of situation. They there to rob you, take from you, and everything else they possibly can. At that point, when you make that decision to try to rob us, I don't want it to be fair. I want me to have the most extreme upper hand on you that I could possibly have. Because at that moment, you already made the decision that you don't care about my life, so it is what it is. Here come the trolls. Yes, I know Jesus. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. Real talk. What's up, Randy? How you doing? God bless you. Lives for Jesus. Yes, yes. Listen, I don't care what's going on this live. If anybody on this live don't know who Christ is, that is the number one thing that, listen, Ron's opinion don't matter with a lot of stuff. But when it comes to having a relationship with Christ, Ron's opinion do matter. Make sure you have one if you don't already. And that's real talk. The greatest decision I've ever made in my life was to give my life to Christ and to trust him. I care less about all this other stuff. Is conversation, political conversation, gun conversation, anything. We can have these conversations a million times. But the number one thing I will tell anybody out of anything I talk about is always, if you don't have a relationship with Christ, that matters more than anything else I could talk about. And that's real talk. Because the person asked the question, do I believe in Jesus Christ? Yes, I do. 100%. That is the one thing I can agree that out of all the things I talk about, there is no compromise there. But it is what it is. Please hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Appreciate you very, very much. I really, really do. You know, do I have a sniper? I mean, I think I could shoot. I mean, a sniper rifle, anything, you know, AR-15s, sniper rifles and stuff like that. Once you zeroed your gun in very, very well, the rest of that is up to you. I mean, everybody had their own little twerks about firearms and stuff like that. But the key to a good shot is, number one, making sure that your gun is zeroed in. That's it. Number one, if you got a rifle, make sure it's zeroed in. That will take away a lot of the missing. What's up, the Fat-tacular Show? What's up, my brother? God bless you. Welcome in, welcome in. The other part of that is, once you zeroed your firearm in, let's say we talk about a rifle, and you zeroed your rifle in, now, at that point, it's up to see how well you are as a shooter. I like trapping. Yeah, I don't loan my guns out to nobody. But, you know, it is what it is. I know it's humor. But God bless y'all. God bless y'all. Again, I go back to this statement all the time. As it relates to firearms, and I know I've been beating this firearm conversation a whole lot. And the reason why I've been beating this firearm conversation a lot is because when it comes to a lot of the places where people grow up, and I hate to say this, but Democrat ran parts, they always try to equate firearms and violence together. And I think people don't realize what they're really trying to do psychologically. And the psychological game with saying gun violence together is to make people in these type of areas believe and think that having a firearm, you're supposed to be violent. That's what the problem is. They keep equating firearms and violence together. So now everybody in these areas keep hearing that. They in their mindset, oh, if I got a firearm, I'm supposed to be violent. And I know y'all might not understand where I'm going with this, and it might not make sense, but if you let it sink in long enough, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. When you get outside of the Democratic City and you talk and you get around real firearm, God-loving, responsible gun owners, they never equate the two together. You never hear them talk, when they talking about firearms, you never hear them talking about, oh, I want to go out, shoot nobody, gun violence. You don't hear that conversation. You never hear that. What they talk about is educating each other on the ability to be a better shooter. And if anything, most they'll talk about hunting, what you should use to hunt for that. But if anyone was to come bring violence to you in your home, as you drive in your vehicle, they talk about it from a defense perspective. Defensive. They never talk about gun violence like guns and violence go together, because they don't. But when you talk to these Democratic ran cities and they keep talking about this stuff, they don't realize that they're actually teaching these young guys out here that guns and violence go together. And that's the point that I was trying to make. I don't have firearms. I have a lot of knives. Hey, look, if you got a lot of knives, you still have a weapon. You have some form of defense or protection for yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't listen. I don't look at the only thing you should have as firearms. Weapons are weapons. The purpose behind the Second Amendment, and I say this all the time, is to defend yourself against government tyranny. It's not so much about protecting yourself about criminals. Politicians say that way you will compromise on your rights. That's why they say, oh, you don't need that to do, even though you still do. But that's why they always try to say, defend yourself against criminals. No, the right to keep and bear arms is for you to have to be able to get the access to the best weapons possible to defend yourself against government tyranny. That's the difference. So why would I let a politician tell me or limit me and what access that I have to a firearm when the reason why I have the firearm in general is to protect myself from your bad decisions? There is no one. The government has been by far more irresponsible with firearms and you can put all American citizens together. And the government has been by far more irresponsible. If you don't think I know what I'm talking about, look at all of that equipment that we left over there in Afghanistan when Biden was in office. You don't think that's irresponsible? There is no difference. They just killing each other with something else. They're not using guns. See, the thing is, a murder rate is a murder rate. The weapon of choice is a difference. If I don't have access to a gun, I'm just going to go get another weapon if I want to kill people. That's the difference. It's a mentality. Murder is a mentality. It's a spirit. It's something somebody wants to do. It has nothing to do with the weapon. So they keep blaming the weapon as opposed to blaming the person. So this is where a gun, a knife, none of that has personalities. They don't have choices. A gun will, if I sit a gun on the table, it's just a gun on the table. It will never do anything but sit on the table. Until I decide to pick up a knife, gun, car, hammer, whatever, and do damage to people, that's the difference. That is the difference. So it doesn't, the choice of weapon is different. My thing is this. If you trust government, let's say he was saying like Ireland and Switzerland, right? So let's say y'all have the government and the government decide to enslave the citizens in Ireland and Switzerland, because that can happen. It has happened. History has shown that it has happened and it can happen again. So in Ireland and Switzerland, let's say y'all don't have access to guns. All y'all got is knives. The government got tanks, all types of heavy duty equipment, and they decide to enslave you. Then what? I will use Democratic politicians to fight for me since they're criminal minded. Ah, that's funny, Jay. And real talk. That's why this is the reason why I'm being a person of American, also melanated persuasion, right? My skin is melanated. Now, let's just say for me, and let's say me, personal, right? Let's just say for the sake of history, black people in America at some point was under the thumb of slavery, right? Under the thumb of slavery. So if black people was under the thumb of slavery, how will you protect yourself if the government in America decided that, you know what, we're going to start enslaving people again? Now, you listen to the Democratic Party who said you don't need an AR-15. You listen, I'm talking to my melanated people right now. You listen to the Democratic Party who said you don't need an AR-15. You listen to the Democratic Party that said you don't need 15, 20 rounds in your clip, whatever. You kept listening to the Democratic Party. So let's just say for the sake of whatever, the government decided to go back and we're going to reintroduce slavery because the Democratic Party ain't far from it right now. They always have been. So if in fact they decided to, how are you going to defend yourself or stop it if you don't have access to the best weapons possible? And you can't form a militia to protect you and those that you love and care about around you. You're not making sense. This is why I don't listen to nothing that comes out the Democratic Party, because they stupid. That's why I know 100% the Democratic Party is the party of tyranny. The reason why they do not want you to have access to firearms so that they can limit your ability to defend yourself against them. So you don't listen to what they say, you watch what they're doing. And this is the reason why when y'all start talking about Trump, y'all don't even make sense. Because Trump is by far the most president who has been freeing up your right to keep and bear arms. So if he wanted to be a dictator, why would you do that? That don't even make sense. That don't even make logical sense. If I wanted to be a dictator, like Hitler was, the first thing I'm going to do is take away people's right to defend themselves. But meanwhile, the Trump administration right now in office is fighting for people to have their rights restored so that they can have the right to defend themselves against who? Government tyranny. Because that's what the Second Amendment is for. So wouldn't that be kind of against his own interest if he had a problem with it? Listen, first of all, if my ancestors was here right now, they would not be a part of the Democratic Party. Guarantee you that. Because if you look at history, the Democratic Party is the one that wanted to keep slavery. But I bet you didn't know that part. They were the ones that was fighting to keep slavery. And if you look at what they're doing today, they haven't changed much. That's the reason why they want these illegal immigrants over here, so they can get that slave labor, that cheap slave labor. They haven't changed. They're still there. They just picked up a few, they just put a few black faces in there so you can trust them. Because you think skin color matter. Why are my eyes so close together? I don't know. Let me see. I'm trying to see if you're talking about. Let me see. Hey, Paul, for me, everything that the Trump administration said that he was going to run on, I got. Listen, this is by far the best vote I've ever made in my life. Voting for Trump was one of the best. It's by far the best vote I ever had in my life. Because everything he ran on is exactly what I'm getting, and that's exactly why I voted for him. I have yet to get one. Matter of fact, I'm getting more, because some stuff I wasn't even thinking about. It wasn't even, some things I wasn't even thinking about. What did I vote for exactly? I voted for them to shut down that border. That was number one. That was a big one on my list. I'm okay with immigration, but I don't like illegal immigration. I look at illegal immigration like you coming into my home without permission. Because this is my country and I don't want you coming in my country without permission. So that's the same for me. So if you cross that border, that's an invasion in my opinion. That's an invasion. When somebody walk in your house without permission, that's an invasion. That's disrespecting your country. Because if I did that in anybody else's country, I will be met with heat. So therefore, this is my country, and I will never let nobody tell me that it's not. So when you come in my country without permission, without being vetted, without being checked and immigrating the proper way, then you should be treated as such. That was number one, my number one vote. The next thing I voted on was deportation. I wanted everybody, the ones that came over here and already here, I want them gone. That was big on my list. Then I wanted him to put tariffs on these other countries. And I know y'all don't like the fact that people talk about tariffs, but I wanted them. And the reason why I wanted them, because I wanted Trump, I wanted him to force these companies to bring these businesses back over here in America so that our children can have better jobs and more manufacturing and creation right here in this country. We're not doing enough no more. Everybody else is doing it. So for me, that's what I wanted. So that it would help guarantee that my children, my grandchildren, will possibly have better access to more jobs and paying jobs. Not over in another country. Because I want to get it a little bit cheaper. Meanwhile, they over there using slave labor to do it, but the people over here keep talking about slavery. Listen, when you start talking that stuff, you okay with slavery, you just don't want it for you, long as it's somebody else. So that's where the hypocrisy come in at. They say, I don't want, slavery's a horrible thing, but you okay with somebody else working for cheap labor so you can get it cheap. Make that make sense. I don't like black and brown. Make them funny. Oh my God, the level of ignorance in here is crazy. But I don't care. You can say ignorant. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can keep coming back and be ignorant. Yeah, you're right, Paul. Common sense ain't so common. All right, so Julian, you say, how does tariffs create jobs? Well, if you want to listen, you got to understand something about America. America is a $20 trillion economy a year. I want you to hear this. This is where it creates the jobs at. If you let's say you owned an empty lot, right? This is how this works. Let's say you own an empty lot and you decided to establish a flea market on your empty lot, right? Are you going to let people come in your flea market and sell product for free? Or are you going to charge them to use that space? That is the point that I'm making. You don't let nobody come into your country and take advantage of it. We have a $20 trillion economy and they making more money. No, that business a lot of that business, not all of it, but a lot of that need to come right back here into America. And a lot of these countries don't want to buy stuff from America. They just want to sell it to America. And at some point, it's going to be so detrimental that we ain't going to have nothing. If I'm not talking a lot because you ain't listening. You just want something to say back. And that is the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making is this. For me, my family, I want to make sure that there's better jobs here, right here, and we're manufacturing stuff just as much as we used to. The problem is, everybody else is doing it. So for me, who also is an investor, and here's my point. They say, how is that making it? So right now, because Stellantis don't want to pay tariffs to bring the stuff over here, guess what they're doing? They're investing $10 billion to be able to ramp up manufacturing right here in America. You think you're white. Why would you say I think I'm white? What the hell does that got to... What does anything that I have to say right now have to do with white? This is how ignorant people are. What does anything that I'm saying right now... So, because I'm talking the way I'm talking, that's white? Where you get that from? That's ignorant. Raising prices on, listen, the way you lower prices in America, this is where Eric, so to help you out. This is why you got to think things through. The way you lower prices in America is, number one, you bring down energy cost. The cost to actually make it. The second way you bring prices down is you make sure it's easier for you to run your business and the government don't keep overtaxing everybody. Get government out the way, prices can come down, because all of these stupid regulations that they've been putting on all these companies for no reason whatsoever has driven prices up. Y'all, they keep telling y'all that has something to do with that and that. No, they're not telling you the real truth. Here's my point. The reason why cars are so expensive, go look at all the regulations that they have to do to build these cars. All that green, making cars more, all that stuff. That's why your car is expensive. By the time they put all this stuff in the car that you don't even need, now you're paying all this money for a car. But y'all not making sense. I know. That's why I tell people, at the end of the day, one thing I always tell people outside of my relationship with Jesus Christ, the stock market is my number one educator. Next to the Bible, the stock market is my number one educator when it comes to what's going on around in this world, because it'll tell you the story without telling you what's going on. It don't use words, but it will tell you what's going on if you pay close enough attention. If you pay close enough attention, it'll tell you what's going on. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all hitting that subscribe button. Appreciate it very, very much. That's the reason why I invested in Stellantis. And if you look at some of my older videos, when some of the people that on my live, I said, yeah, I'm buying stock in Stellantis. Why it's down? I'm buying stock in Ford. Why it's down? I'm buying stock in General Motors. Why it's down? Why? Because I knew that them tariffs was going to force them to bring more business back to America. Now, you look at all three of those stocks from where they were a few months ago, right now, if I was to sell them, I'll be selling them and I'm going to be making some decent money off of them. I'm not selling it because I like dividends, but this is the point. I saw this coming. But you let all of the Democrats tell you all the bull crap. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi probably did the same thing. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi probably told you the same thing, but they told their voters, oh, Trump's going to be a dictator. When Trump said it's a good time to buy, they complained about it and drawed your attention to something. What he shouldn't have said that and tried to blame him for it. But y'all didn't listen to Trump. Y'all listened to the Democrats. Meanwhile, if y'all would have listened to Trump when he said this is a good time to buy, every last person that would have did that would have been making some type of money right now, for the most part. Not everybody, not depending on where you put it at, of course, but you'd have been making some money. No. Y'all listen to the Democrats. Yep, I call them Democrats. Y'all listen to the Democrats. And that's where we at right now. What's my stance on the whole Israel situation right now? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't follow a whole lot about Israel and stuff like that. In my life, I just don't have the time for all of that. I follow what applies to me, is close to me, meaning that I worry about what's going on as it relates to how it affects me more closely. I don't get that far into that at all. Boy, I tell you. So he said, who's this? Abel, whatever. Why are you gay? First of all, I ain't gay. But whatever. Aaron says, I'm too angry to have a relationship with Jesus. I'm not angry. Nothing about what I said is angry. This is how I talk when I'm on my live. I'm not angry. I ain't got nothing to be angry about. Jason, thank you. God bless you. Yes, they are. Here come the dummies. Or you all right, so for the trollers. For the trollers that are always asking that dumb question, right? I'm gonna explain something to you, because I'm about to piss y'all off. Let me explain to y'all where my stance at as it comes to homosexuality. I had this hoodie made a while back. So y'all really gonna get pissed off at me, but I don't care. And I'm getting ready to show y'all my hoodie I've had made a while back. I want y'all to read that. What that say? I know it's backwards. I don't play that game. Are those guns real? Y'all funny. What's up, my brother Jay? God bless you, bro, man. The Factacular Show. For those that are in the live, you see that Factacular right there with the wrench? Make sure y'all go follow the Factacular Show. That's a great show right there. You're going to love it. It's very funny. He do reaction videos. Y'all going to like it. Just for real, how you doing? God bless you. Welcome in. Factacular. You're absolutely right, bro. That's why I don't pay the trolls no attention. You troll me, I troll you back. I don't know why you keep asking me who do I think killed Charlie Kirk. I'm not concerned about they already from what I understand they caught the guy already. So why would you ask me that question? What kind of gun are those? 5.56 and 4.58 SOCOM. Nah, I didn't buy no Netflix. No, I didn't buy no Netflix at all. Some of the ETFs I have got Netflix in them, but I didn't buy no Netflix at all. What's up, Jenny? No, I didn't buy one. I didn't buy none. Airsoft gun. Y'all funny. I got a 357, 5.7 Ruger, SIG, 9mm, 19, Glock 19. I don't have no Glocks. I like Ruger, though. I do have Rugers. I got Smith & Wesson, and I own some Rugers, but I like them both. I don't own no Glocks, though. And that's real talk. I mean, really. Y'all, I know y'all don't understand when I be talking this gun talk. Top to bottom hair and skincare. Thank you for coming in. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Just so y'all know, tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m., for those that are still on the live, please hit the like button. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m., top to bottom hair and skincare will be on my channel live. Just so y'all know what I'm talking about is that's where I get all my skincare, my hair care products, body wash, soon to be coming deodorant. I love their products. I talk about their product all the time. Actually, my whole family uses their product. We have a slew of people that use their product, and they're American made. For those that on this live, Like I said, their products is American made. So, Joshua, how you doing? God bless you. Welcome in. Nah, I don't have a 308, but I want one. I have a 458 SOCOM, but I don't have a 308. And the AR-10, no. I do have a 12 gauge. I got some 9s. My 12 gauge is semi-automatic. But no, I don't have. I do want an AR-10, but I'm not too. I want another shotgun, but I want a clip-fed shotgun. I do want to ship a clip-fed shotgun, but I'm just scared about it because I heard a lot of bad stuff about they jamming up and stuff. So I'm trying to take my time to find me one, a well-made one that don't have real issues with it. But we'll see. Why would that? Why representing your country is over? Why is that? It's not making sense. Why is representing your company is overgoing? Not making sense. But whatever. I'm never going to shut up about guns. Guns save lives. Oh, you got a pump. I don't know. Nah, Jenny, they're American made. Top to bottom hair and skincare is all American made. That's where I buy all my products from. That's where I get all my hair care products, skincare products, my body wash. I know they're in the process of coming out with a possible deodorant. I know they're in the process of coming out with a deodorant, all toxic free. They don't have no, they use all organic stuff. They infuse a lot of their product is all organic. They don't use toxic stuff in there and stuff, so that's why I use it. Oh, the deodorant is here. See, I didn't know that part. I didn't know that part. But yeah, the deodorant is here. But yeah, I use all of their products. Actually, my whole family does. I mean, 70% of the hair care and skincare products that we use in my home is from them. And oh, it just happened today. That's why I didn't know. But yes, that's what I do. As far as hair care and skincare product and whatever. And like I had a real bad dry, itchy situation with my hair. And I happened to try their product and it took the itch away. Like it really took the itch away, and I don't have that issue no more. So I ended up trying one of the products. I wasn't expecting it to do what it did. I was just looking for something new because I was still trying to figure it out. But it actually took the itch away. But it ended up being a lot more beneficial for my hair. It actually thickened my hair up. It strengthened my hair, made it look a little more fuller, which I wasn't looking for that reason. But that's just the actual results from it. So that's why I talk about it. And then they came out with a body wash. I like that body wash. I like the coconut buttercream cluster for my skin when I'm in the shower. But yeah, it's they make a lot of different stuff, and I love their product, and it's American made. And for those other people that care about melanin made, they melanin too. So the people that make it got melanin in their skin. If that matters to you, I don't think it should, but that's just my personal opinion. But for those that want to know if it's melanin, black owned or whatever, they also black. But I look at it from American because we're all Americans that are in America. And that's real talk. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all hitting the subscribe button. Appreciate it very, very much. Paul said Diddy cracks. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. He said, nice flag. I can't, something Fox. 2 Jay-Z Fox. He said, nice flag. Just so y'all know, I'm looking at my screen over here because it's bigger. I'm trying to look on this phone. And stuff is too small. Nope, I'm not. I see you ain't up on tea products. Nope. That's funny. See, my thing is this, is that for those that's on my live, I can take the jokes. Like I always tell people, you can come in here, you can insult me, you can say stuff about me, you can say negative stuff about me, you can call me names. It don't bother me. I love it. It's fun. This is one place you'll be able to come and have fun and talk about me. And, you know, I'm not going to go get off my live and go cry because they said stuff. I can care less. Nah, my teeth ain't fine. They all right. I mean, I got some. I got most of them, but I got issues with everybody. You know, you get my age, you're going to have issue with your teeth. Yes, America first. Definitely. Because I live in America. And I want my country to be first. I don't want my country going around taking care of everybody else and ignore the people that's here. I work. I pay taxes. And for people in this country that work and pay taxes, why should we be funding all this stuff? Real talk. Why should we be funding all this stuff? I work. I pay taxes. America first. You don't like that? It is what it is. But America first. Like I said, this is the country I was born in. This is the country I was raised in. Generational wise, no one's going to tell me that this is not my country. No one will ever tell me that this is not my country. And if you live in America and you're born and raised in America and you've been here for generations and you let someone tell you that this is not your country, that's just like somebody walking into your house that you paid for and tell you that it's not your house. They just taking it because it's not your house. That's the part you're not understanding. You can't let people tell you that this is not your country when you was born on this soil. And you better not let the people tell you. Because the minute they try to tell you or convince you that this is not your country, what they really want you to do is not take it serious. And believe that this is not your country so that they can tell you this country has something against you, that you ain't supposed to be here. And then they can consume up everything, make all the money, do everything else while you still sitting there thinking that it's not your country. Yes, veterans first. Now, I'm not a veteran. I never served in the military. I have nothing but respect for all my military vets. I love y'all. I appreciate everything y'all done for me. I never served in the military, but I want to make that clear because I don't want nobody thinking, oh, he's a vet. No, I'm not. I can't take no credit for nothing like that. Real talk, Jay, you got it. Pretty sure statistically, this ain't anyone's country. Any of our country. Listen, I get where you're trying to go with that. But my question is, if it ain't yours, whose is it? Because throughout history, people have migrated from place to place. Some people took over, some people lost. That's the reason why. If you sitting there worrying about history, right now you're alive. So let's just say for whatever reason, someone comes and infiltrates your home and take it. You worked for it. You did everything to keep it. They come and they take it. You gonna be okay with that? I'm not worrying about. I can't change what happened in history. I only can deal with the now. See, while you focusing on the history, I'm learning from I learned from the history, but I'm gonna focus on the now. History is going to tell me why I need to move and function the way I need to function, to make sure that no one comes in my country and take over my country. No one comes in my home and take over my home. No one jumps in my car and just take over my car. If you ain't paying for it, if you ain't maintaining it, if you ain't dealing with the everyday responsibility of it, no. But it stops at your end. Listen, we got enough problems right here in our own country with the people that are here legally. I mean, legally, and the people here that are born and raised in here. Why in the world would you be okay with somebody else coming from another country, consuming up your resources right here in your country and contributing nothing to it? Let these Democrats keep telling you how much they contribute. Or they work in the field. You tell me, in the city of Philadelphia, who farms in the city of Philadelphia? Where's the farms at in the city of Philadelphia? In the city of New York, where is the farms? Because all these people keep talking about they working in the fields. Yet they dropped all these illegal immigrants in the cities. It is very extremely rare that you're going to find a farm in the city. Farming is done in the suburban areas. So why they didn't drop them there? Sky showed you we didn't discover it, we conquered it. There you go. And listen, he said we didn't discover it, we conquered it. This is the point that I was making. If you don't have a way to defend yourself against someone trying to conquer what you have, guess what? You're going to be a victim. Mad at me all you want to. You're going to be a victim. Denzel Washington. You're going to be a victim. The same way if you in your car and you drive and you stop at a stoplight or a stop sign and somebody comes up with a firearm and tell you get out your car. You have no way to defend yourself. Guess what? They just took your car, possibly killed you. Possibly. Hopefully not. They just took your vehicle. They conquered your vehicle because you had no way of defending yourself. And now you have to wait for the police to show up maybe in 6 minutes, maybe. And still they got your vehicle. They still got your vehicle. They conquered your vehicle because you don't believe that having a firearm is necessary. Meanwhile, it was a firearm that conquered your vehicle because the person decided to use it to take it. This is how stupid that sounds. So if you got your house and someone comes into your house with firearms and take over your home, how you gonna get them out? That's why you're supposed to have access to the best weapons possible to defend yourself and your family collectively possible. You don't wait for the police to come. They're not going to be able to do it. By the time the police show up, the damage is done. In most cases. And I'm not even getting on the fact that the Second Amendment is about government tyranny. I'm just saying from an everyday living perspective. If you don't have a way to defend yourself, you are going to be at some point possibly a victim. You keep letting these Democrats tell you don't need a firearm, you a fool. If you keep letting Democrats tell you don't need a right to defend yourself, you are a fool. If you pull up to a gas station and 3 guys come up with an AR-15 or something like that and they got 30 rounds in their clip and you sitting there with a 5-shooter, where are the Democrats going to be when you under all of that fire? Because criminals don't care about that. Laws don't affect criminals. Laws only affect people that are law-abiding citizens. Laws don't affect criminals. They're going to get the guns, they're going to get weapons, and the more citizens follow the law and limit what they have, that just make criminals have better reign and better control over who they can victimize. You said laws do affect criminals? Show me a law that stopped the criminal. Show me one law that stopped the criminal. That's why we call them criminals, because they don't obey the law. And only going to affect them once they get caught. If they get caught. Criminals don't care about laws. Citizens, honest everyday citizens care about laws. Criminals don't care about laws. That's why they're criminals, because they break laws. They don't obey law. They're not going to look at a gun-free zone and say, oh, I can't take my gun here. They're going to look at a gun-free zone and say, oh, these other people here are not going to follow the law, so this is a good place to rob somebody. Why? Because I know they ain't going to follow the law because it says gun-free. Now you just put all of the people that's following the law can be victim to the person that's not. So how is that ignorant? And the other thing is this. If you're walking down the street and someone comes to rob you, you don't have nothing. Another citizen see what's going on, comes up with his firearm and protect you in that situation. You're not going to have no beef with a gun at that point because you're going to be glad that he had one. See, everyday honest citizens don't go out here with guns and rob and steal from people. People like me don't even think that way. I never once picked up my gun and said, you know what, I want to rob somebody and steal something, victimize me. I don't even think that way. This is how stupid y'all sound. I don't think that way. I never think that way. I enjoy my firearms when I go to the range and stuff like that. I don't think of it as I want to hurt somebody. The last thing I will ever want to do is use my firearm on somebody unless they're trying to do something to me that I have to. That's it. And even in that, I'm going to try everything I can do to avoid having to. If there's another way, I'm going to take the other way. But if you force me, then it is what it is. And this is where I don't understand the logic in that. Meanwhile, a lot of these people live in cities where this happens all the time. This type of activity happens all the time, and they're still waiting for the police to come around to protect them. It is so bad to the point where a lot of people don't even call the police because they know ain't nothing they're going to do. And that's why I don't understand their logic. You either going to be a victim or you're going to have a way to protect yourself. Although I never ever in my life would want to use my firearm on anyone. And that's the truth. Never. If there was a way to avoid it, I'm going to try to avoid it. But unfortunately, we got evil people in the world. We got people that want to victimize people all the time. I live in the city of Philadelphia. I know what I'm talking about. I've seen it multiple occasions where somebody not doing anything, minding their business, trying to go on about their life, and someone comes and tries to rob them. Someone comes and tries to steal them. They're not going to allow you to make a 911 call before they do what they're going to do to you. And 9 times out of 10, the police is not going to be nowhere in sight if this happens. They would love to be in most cases, but that's not what it's going to play out. How it's going to play out is, in that moment, you're going to have to decide in that moment, possibly, what's going to happen to you and what's not. If you don't have a firearm and they do, it's game over. If they walk up on you with a firearm and you see it coming and you don't have nothing to defend yourself, it's game over for you. But if you do have a firearm and you see what's about to happen, you can possibly be proactive and deal with it before it happens. That's it. You agree with me or not, that's okay. But I'm going to keep hammering this until people understand why we have the right to keep and bear arms. It really has nothing to do with criminals. Zero to do with criminals. That is a byproduct of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is to make sure that you have right to keep and bear arms, have access to the best weapons possible to protect yourself against government tyranny. Government tyranny is where that's for. Protecting against criminals, that's just a byproduct. But the right to keep and bear arms is to protect yourself against government tyranny. And if government have great, powerful weapons, you should have access to great, powerful weapons too. That is it. The criminal aspect is just a byproduct of it. That's it. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. 87, dude 87. God bless you. God bless everybody in here. Ham. Crime affects everybody. I'm gonna be honest with you, Ham. Crime affects everybody. But my thing is this. When it comes to criminals, criminals don't care who they victimize. They look for victims. This is my point. Crime affects everybody in some type of way, shape, or form. Here's my point to that. If you got a store, a grocery store in your neighborhood, in your community, right? And everybody and a lot of people in the neighborhood keep stealing from that store. Keep stealing. That store is going to be forced to either go out of business or raise their prices. Why? They can't make a profit because the people in the community keep stealing all the goods. So they got to raise the prices or go out of business. You know who that affect? Everybody in that community that uses that store. Because now they got to pay higher prices because the idiots in the neighborhood keep stealing. So they got to raise the price up to try to make a profit and to cover their costs of running that business. That affects everybody. And then the honest people that's going into the store to pay for that product now have to pay more because the idiots in the neighborhood keep stealing. That's what I mean by crime affects everybody. You just don't think it does. Positive vibes only. How you doing? God bless you. Because they're thieves. Some people still out of desperation, but a lot of them are thieves. That's it. They're thieves. Now, there's some rare cases where people still out of desperation. But if you desperate, why not ask first? If you desperate and you got to steal, try to ask first. Most places, if you go in there and ask them for help, they might. I'm not saying they will, but they might. They'd rather help you than you steal from them. They might say, okay, you ain't got to steal the food. Go sweep the front of the store and then I'll pay you in food. But they too ashamed for that, I guess. They too prideful for that. How about going there and asking, listen, can I do a couple of things for you so I can get a couple of things food-wise because I don't want to steal? Too prideful for that. See the difference? And if you can't get it from them, somebody might want to pay you to do something that they might need. Learn how to do something so you can earn something, so you can pay for it. That's my point. I'm not angry. Don't read my body language as angry. I'm not angry. Believe me when I tell you I'm not angry. But anyway, God bless y'all. Really, real talk. I'm having a good time. Don't excuse my loud talk. If I'm angry, that's the way I do my show. I love doing it that way. And Ham, you might be a little bit correct with that, to limited resources. But I'm going to tell you what causes a community like that to have limited resources. Theft. Theft will cause a community like that to have limited resources. Because if I'm in business and I know y'all going to keep stealing me out of business, I'm going to move my business. If I'm a manufacturer and I'm trying to manufacture and I bring jobs to that neighborhood and the people that I keep hiring stealing from my company, then I'm going to move my company. Because I need to make a profit. I'm not doing this voluntarily. So that's why I say you have to have a different mindset. Everybody pays for theft. See, see where it says sometimes I get water in the cup at a fast food and sneak a little soda, but that's it. Listen, I'll be a hypocrite to say, and I get your point, C-Wag. I'll be a hypocrite to say that nobody, that we all follow the law 100%. None of us do. If you really look at all the laws, none of us do. But my thing is this: most of us get up on a regular basis and, at least from a normal perspective, try to follow law as much as we can. You know what I mean? It's like me driving. Speed limit 55. Am I doing 55? Yeah. I'm doing 55. Yep, I'm doing exactly. I ain't going no further over. You see my point. He said 60. Yeah, I'm not. I'm doing 55. I ain't going no faster than 55. Yeah, I like Trump. I think it is. It's collecting rainwater in some states illegal. I think it is. I mean, I wouldn't listen to him. I'll be honest with you. If it was illegal to collect rainwater and I knew how to, if I was the one trying to recycle rainwater to make it useful, I wouldn't listen. I'm like, well, whatever. I don't care. Like some things I don't think all laws, I don't agree with all laws. Just so y'all know. I don't agree with all laws. But that'd be a law I wouldn't follow. If I'm trying to, no, you're not going to tell me I can't clean my own water and make my own clean water. You got to be crazy. I'm like, well, do whatever y'all going to do with me. I don't care. Yeah, nah, I'm good. I don't know if I want Sky Soldier. Nope, I wouldn't want to. I mean, I guess if I have a good way to clean it and make sure it's drinkable, it all depends. But what's up, Turner? How you doing? God bless you. Yeah, right. Ham, I get it. There's a level of what we're saying that I agree with. But my thing is this is that, and you're making good points. But my thing is this is that sometimes we don't realize that we're destroying our own community. And I'm not saying, and that's any community. That's not like, oh, melanated, not melanated. This any community that steals like that, and you're gonna have that problem. Because thanks, Turner. God bless you too. Yeah, any community that steals like that, you're gonna have that problem. And honestly, I grew up that most people were black. And we didn't have that problem. Honestly, when I was growing up, back in the 60s, 70s, in the early 80s, not as time progressed, it got worse. But when I was growing up, if I took something from the store and my parents found out about it, you know what my parents did? They grabbed that ear, dragged me back to the store, made me apologize to them, and make me do something for the store to make sure I never do it again. But we don't have those standards no more. That's what the problem is. We're letting people get away with it and we're not checking it. You're supposed to check that behavior early. I'm grown now. I ain't stealing nothing from nobody. I want to steal from nobody. But I'm talking about when I was growing up, the adults did not let you just do whatever you wanted to do. I mean, we did stuff as kids that we weren't supposed to do, but the adults, the real adults, didn't just let you do what you want to do. They checked you. That's what was called village raising a child. The village would check you. Now, the villages everybody's an individual now. So therefore, the village is not helping you check your child. Your child is out there doing whatever they want to do, out of your sight, other people seeing it, and you gonna get mad. They know you're gonna get mad at them for checking your child. See, when I grew up, that it wasn't that game. My parents wouldn't argue with my neighbors for checking me, because my parents knew my neighbors well enough to know that if they checked me, I earned it. moving forward, adults are just as rebellious. They are. But I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about when I was growing up. Right now is a bigger problem. But when I was growing up, no. You respected adults. See, when I grew up, the school teachers could whip your behind. They could spank you. That's why the only thing that ever happened in our schools was chewing gum. We didn't have no shooting and stabbing and all that other stuff when we went to school. That was unheard of. You know why? Because we feared our teachers. We didn't control our teachers and tell our teachers what to do. We feared them. We feared our parents. We feared our neighbors. So that wasn't common like it is now. Why do I think generations got so lost? Bigger problem, they got far away from God. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. We got too far away from God. We rely too much on our flesh. That's the number one, is that we're driven by our feelings and our emotions and our flesh. We're not conscious to our soul and consciously not wanting to do the right thing, knowing wrong from right. We're following our flesh. Whatever feels good, just do it. If it feels right, just do it. That's where it starts at. You have to have a conscience about God that I don't want to just do anything. Because I don't want God to change. I respect God enough to know to try to be a better person. That's number one. I respect God enough to try to be a better person. I'm not worrying about everybody else looking. God is looking. And I'm not saying that we get it right 100% of the time. But that's using your conscience saying, no, don't do that. Because you got a God that you serve and you don't want him to look at you. You don't want that in you. That's number one. And then you want to be a better person. You want to be a better person. So that's outside of everything else. That's the number one. That's why I say we're born in sin, shaped in iniquity. Our natural thing is naturally we're going to be sinners. We're going to do wrong stuff. That's why you got to be taught to do right in a lot of cases. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases. That's why doing wrong feels so good as a kid. And it's fun. But we don't realize what is really embedded into us until we start getting older and we realize how much time we wasted. And this is not about agreeing with me. This is just my perspective. Well, my thing is this. I don't think nobody is less or greater lost based on their race. I don't. I just think people, you're a product of your environment to some extent. So if your environment is reckless, you're more likely going to turn out reckless. If your environment preaches and teaches lawlessness, then you're more likely going to turn out that way. Not in every case, but you more likely are. So I don't think it has nothing to do with your skin color. I don't think it's a white thing, black thing, or anything of that nature. I just think personally that sometimes you are a product of your environment. No, thank you, Ham. Have a good one, man. God bless you. I don't know if you're a man or a woman, but God bless you. Hopefully you're having a blessed day and be safe out there. And I appreciate the conversation too. But I have to get ready to get up out of here myself. And I appreciate all of y'all. Real talk. Even the ones that hate my guts, can't stand me, don't like what I'm talking about. Appreciate y'all too. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe button, so we can continue these conversations. Because at the end of the day, regardless of whether you Democrat, Republican, liberal, not liberal, whatever, don't matter to me. I want us to be able to have conversation. I don't want us to hurt nobody. I don't want us to kill nobody, hurt nobody because of how we feel. That's real talk. I want us to be safe. I don't want us to hurt nobody. So if you feel as though you're going to hurt somebody, you mad at the world, come to my channel, like and subscribe. Say all the hateful stuff you want to say to me. That's fine. I ask you to try to keep it respectful as possible, but I'd rather you let it out on my channel than I let it out on the street. And that's real talk. I'd rather you let it out on this channel, because ain't nobody going to die from that, than to let it out on the street. And you're welcome. And that's real talk. It's just, you can type some words, say some stuff. I'd rather you let it out on my channel than to let it out on the street. This is a safe place for you to go and let it out. Hopefully it changes something in your perspective. Maybe you might change mine. Either way, we're all in this together. And if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, that is the by far best opinion I can give you, is that to get to know God like I have. Get to have a relationship with God the way I have. And that right there will change your perspective on life. And it will help your soul. And you'll understand why I'm able to do and talk the way that I'm able to talk. And it doesn't bother me. I love all y'all. And I don't want nobody to die. I don't want nobody to get hurt. I want us to be able to have these conversations and talk in a safe place. God bless everybody. Real talk, real talk. Y'all have a blessed, wonderful day. I wish I could have answered everybody in the chat, but it's a lot going on. But I really appreciate y'all giving me your time. I really appreciate y'all putting it in. Y'all have a blessed, wonderful day. I got to get up out of here. Peace.